Hello, friends. The 717th day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. The Russians continue assault operations in the private development of Avdiivka. The Ukrainian armed forces confirm that the fighting is becoming urban. The speaker of the Operational Strategic Group of Troops, Tavria Lehovoy, confirmed that in Avdiivka military clashes occur not only in the north of the city in the private sector, but also within the urban area. All journalists ask, and I can confirm that yes. Military clashes are taking place not only in the private sector and the north of the city, but also within urban areas. The enemy's plan is obvious. He is trying to cut off Ukrainian forces by entering between the Avdiivka coke plant and the quarry, Lehovoy said. He added that the Russian army is directing the main assault pressure in the north of Avdiivka. The Russians' intention is to cut the main logistics artery and ensure an operational encirclement of the city. This is actively opposed by the Ukrainian armed forces. Meanwhile, Ukrainian military expert Mashovets expressed the opinion that in Avdiivka, the story with Bakhmut is repeating itself, and there is a threat of encirclement of Ukrainian forces in the city. To be honest, I didn't want the story with Bakhmut to be repeated in Avdiivka. However, apparently it will be so, says an analyst from the Information Resistance Group. In his opinion, the enemy continues to successfully implement his plan to bypass the Avdiivka coke and chemical plant from the east and southeast, and as sad as it is to admit, it seems that the enemy is very close to putting it into practice, Mashovets added. He writes that the advanced detachments of Russians over the course of the previous few days went deep into the garden society Avdiivka to Micharina Street and Zalesnishny Lane, and also went to the overpass over the railway in the area of Chiestokova Street, and according to certain information, they captured it. All this taken together, according to a sober assessment, means that they are located 500 meters from the Avdiivka motor depot and less than 1 kilometer from the Brevno restaurant, and in fact have a real opportunity to successfully complete his Avdiivka operation, writes Mashovets. The reason for this forecast is the actual exclusion of the northern road, 542 through Orlivka and Lastichkin A, for the stable supply of Ukrainian units. According to Mashovets, the alternative communication in the south, via Tonenki and Siverny, is also complicated to the limit, since the enemy's forward positions are located 2.2 kilometers from this road. If in the next 24 hours no fundamental decision is made by the Ukrainian command, then the situation in Avdiivka, obviously, in terms of the level of negative impact on our troops, may surpass the situation that was in Bakhmut at one time. There will be a real possibility of encirclement of the Ukrainian army in Avdiivka, having neither the strength nor the ability not only to effectively counterattack the enemy in the flank areas, but also to simply stop him. The Ukrainian armed forces in this direction obviously risk, in the near future, being faced with a slow but inexorable compression by the enemy, according to at least the northern front, and cutting off the main communications of the Avdiivka defense region. Accordingly, there is a risk of a very real prospect of either leaving the Avdiivka defense region or encircling part of its forces and means in it, which, in fact, is what the enemy is trying to achieve. I am not condensing anything, and I'm not calling out treason, writes Mashovets. According to a sober, adequate assessment of the situation, further attempts to hold the defense without the opportunity to correct the situation in the area of the coke plant, or at least push the enemy back to the Vodiany-Opatny line in the south, means a very dangerous game on the level of suicide. The width of the neck between the advanced enemy units in the area of Micharina Street and the extreme landing occupied by the enemy north of Opatny is 5.4 kilometers. In my opinion, if some decisive, cardinal steps are not taken in the near future, either here or there, the situation for the armed forces Ukraine in the Avdiivka area will acquire a dramatic character. Simply standing on the defensive and trying to restrain it will not work. The enemy command has enough forces and resources to not pay attention to the pace of their consumption in their persistent attacks in order to achieve their goal in the Avdiivka area, reports Mashovets. Also today, Bild military analyst Julian Rock writes that the Russians have reached the railway junction in the center of Avdiivka and are only 700 meters from the last supply route for the Ukrainian armed forces leading to the southern part of the city. He cites a video of a Ukrainian drone dropping several grenades on 6 Russian soldiers. Based on their location, Rock determined the distance from the indicated road to the Russian positions. According to him, in these places, there is no longer a single Ukrainian soldier who could resist those who are moving further to the west. Meanwhile, Ukrainian experts today record another advance of the enemy along Stepova and Pershetrovneva streets in an area up to 350 meters wide and to a depth of up to 150 meters.
Friends, this channel exists solely thanks to your support. If you have the opportunity and desire to support the channel, I will be very grateful to you. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.